Her foot slammed into his chest. He slipped backward off the ridge. The reins snapped tight under her grip. The horse buckled, legs twitching. He grabbed at a branch. The bark tore loose in his palm. She screamed something and kicked the horse again. Its front legs gave out. Its spine hit the rocks. He rolled, shoulder cracked on stone. A hoof struck air inches from his face. The saddle twisted. She lurched sideways with both arms flailing. Her weight dropped toward him. His boot caught under the ledge. He reached up as her body came down. Her elbow drove toward his throat. His wrist buckled. Her full weight. A boot slid loose rock down the ridge. Another followed. The man kept his eyes half shut. Breath shallow. Blood dried along the cut at his temple. His leg twitched once beneath the weight still across him. He stopped it. Stillness. One man spoke low. The voice cracked from chewing tobacco. The other walked straight to them. His rifle dipped toward the woman's ribs. He kicked her hard. She jerked, but did not wake. Her braid slid across the man's face. The boot turned toward him axed. The rifle barrel pressed against his temple. The steel was warm. The man let his lips part just slightly, not enough to show breath. His pulse fought to stay slow. The gunman laughed. The man didn't flinch, didn't blink. The other crouched by the saddlebag. Leather creaked, cloth shifted, fingers worked through jerky and rope. A hand slapped the saddlebag down. A curse snapped from his throat. He dragged something out by the corner. It flashed brass. The stolen badge, sheriff's iron. The man's shoulder twitched under the Apache woman's arm. The gun barrel pressed harder into his skin. He did not move. He smelled the old grease on the barrel, felt his stomach turn. Flash his brother's face in the firelight. Dust caked on his cheek. You cross that ridge, you die. With what you owe, stay clear of the Blue Valley. That badge gets you dragged, not paid. The crouched man stood and laughed again. He tossed the badge in the dirt, spat on it. He muttered that only fools carried what they couldn't wear. The man on the ground stayed still. His left hand twitched in the shadow. Fingers touched something cool, flat, rough edge, rock. The gunman stepped back to light a cigar. Smoke rose into the sun. The woman's breath was heavier now. Her elbow shifted. The second man didn't notice. The one with the cigar glanced back up the ridge, said something sharp, said there was no trail. No one came after them, all quiet. They could take what they wanted, no hurry. Might even tie up the fat one and drag her for fun. The man on the ground curled his fingers tighter. The shadow of the man passed across his face again. The rock fit in his palm. His grip closed. His wrist shifted just enough to angle it back. The woman exhaled hard. Her fingers twitched once on his chest. She wasn't dead. The man didn't know how long she'd been awake. He pressed his fingers down, bent his elbow. The rock pulled firm against his skin. It was heavy enough. It would do. The gunman leaned forward. The grin returned. He raised the rifle again. The man's arm snapped back behind him. Cut to black. The rock snapped forward. It struck the gunman beneath the cheek. Bone cracked. The grin vanished. His rifle jerked skyward. The man rolled hard. A shot tore past where his head had been. Dust burst from the ridge. Another shot followed. Then another. Sound split the air. The man slammed his shoulder into the Apache woman. He dragged her across his chest. Her weight crushed his ribs. He welcomed it. Bullets struck dirt. One clipped stone. Fragments stung his face. He wrapped an arm around her middle, pulled, scraped skin off his forearm. Her body lagged. Dead weight. The man kicked loose and rolled. Gravity took them. They slid together. Rock tore at his back. Her braid tangled in his fingers. He lost grip and caught it again. Gunfire followed, shots chasing. One struck near his neck. Heat flared. He tasted iron. He twisted his body, turned her toward the ridge. Another bullet hit her pack. Leather ripped, grain spilled. He felt her jolt. She groaned. Alive, they slid faster now. Loose shale gave way. His heel struck nothing, then ground again. He kicked to slow them. His boot split, skin tore. Pain flashed white. He did not stop. The ridge curved. The slope sharpened. He rolled again, dragged her by the arm. Her shoulder struck stone. She cried out. A short sound. Anger in it. Gunfire slowed. Voices shouted. He heard boots scrambling, cursing. Spanish again. Close. He dug his fingers into the dirt. Pulled. His nails bent. Blood smeared the rock. He felt her weight drag him backward. Too much. Always too much. A shot cracked close. Stone burst beside his ear. He shoved her harder, turned her body sideways, used her bulk as shield. His lungs burned. His chest ached where her weight pressed down. He could not stop. They rolled again. The ground vanished beneath his left side. Air opened. He caught sight of the edge. Nothing beyond it. Just space. Wide and empty. The canyon waited. Open mouth. Long drop. He tried to dig in. Too late. The slope gave way beneath them. Their bodies slid faster. No purchase. No hold. He wrapped both arms around her. Pulled her tight. Felt bone under flesh. Felt heat. Felt breath. Gunfire stopped above. Shouts turned sharp. Fear now. The man twisted his body one last time, angled his shoulder toward the drop. The ledge rushed up. Then nothing. The ground ended. The canyon opened. Air caught them. Weight turned sideways. No breath. No sound. Then the earth punched them both. He struck on his left side. Flesh folded against rock. Shoulder popped. Something cracked in his hand. 2 fingers bent the wrong way. He screamed without sound. Her body rolled half across his chest. Dust rose, thin, dry. Heat pressed in behind it. He sucked air through clenched teeth. He tasted dirt. Blood. Something moved above. Pebbles fell beside them. He pulled his head up, looked past her hair. They were shielded by brush. Low and thick, a narrow gap to the ledge, not wide enough for the men above to see clearly. A voice called out. No answer. The voice called again. Boots scraped rock. Someone checked the edge. He saw the shape of a rifle barrel. It waved once, then pulled back. He lay still. She stirred. A groan in her chest. He turned toward her. Her eyes flickered but didn't open. Blood marked her chin. He shifted her off him with care. His broken fingers touched her ribs. She winced. He stopped, used his other hand, pulled himself upright. She rolled to her side, spat blood into the dust. Her breath was low, not ragged, still strong, still with him. Boots moved again above. He counted steps. 2 men, pacing, uncertain. They called to each other. The language moved fast. Too fast for him to follow. He watched the brush shake from the wind alone. They did not descend. Too steep. Too uncertain. They gave up the chase. At least for now. The woman coughed. Her mouth twisted. Her hand touched her side. She pressed. Felt something. She did not cry out. She breathed through it, steady. Then she slapped his hand away, the one still hovering near her chest. He let it fall. Looked down at it. 2 fingers swollen and purple. Already stiffening, already useless. The brush gave them cover. But not much else. Heat pressed from every side. No shade, no water. No way up that wasn't the way down. They had fallen into a bowl of rock and sun. She moved now, sat upright, wiped her mouth with the back of her hand. Her wrist shook. Her elbow held steady. She looked at him. He looked back. No one spoke, not yet. She blinked once, then again. Her mouth opened. Her voice was raw, thin, one word. His name. He froze. Her voice still echoed. The weight of it hit harder than the fall. His name. His real name. Not the one he gave strangers, not the one on his last wanted poster. The one only family used. She watched him, eyes narrow, no smile, no threat. Just wait. He pushed upright with one good hand. The broken fingers curled useless in his lap. His breath slowed. She said the name again, softer this time, still exact. He stared at her, waited. She blinked once. Then she spoke. She told him they were not enemies. Not yet. She told him the man who hunted her was the same man who ruined him, not with the same bullet, not in the same year, but the same hand. The man's chest tightened, not with anger, with memory, the kind that stayed sharp, the kind that came with heat behind the eyes. Flash, a crowd, a gun, a badge raised high, his father on the courthouse steps, arms wide, trying to speak, then the shot, then the fall. Then the silence, boots stepping past the body. The same man, the one with law on his side, the one who smiled after, the one who ordered the rope for her boy. She said her son took grain, spoiled grain, just enough to fill his pocket, caught in the act. No trial, no witness, no mercy, only rope, only an order from the same sheriff. She said the boy kicked once, then stopped. The man looked at her. The way she held her body, the way she didn't tremble. He felt the ridge behind them, the drop, the heat, the dust still on his shirt, the sting of rock in his back. He wanted to leave, wanted to keep moving alone. No ties, no names, no faces, but her voice stayed with him. So did the word she used his name. He watched her chest rise, fall, her hands resting on her legs. Then she moved one slow, sudden motion. No tension. She reached under her dress. Dirt flaked off the fabric. Her hand came back out, holding something wrapped in cloth. Small, sharp, heavy enough to matter. She unwrapped it. A blade, worn handle, clean edge, no stain. She did not speak again. She did not ask. She reached forward, placed the knife in his hand, folded his fingers around it, broken and whole together. She let go and waited. She moved first, slow, deliberate. No sound from her mouth, no complaint. He pushed up after her, his body stiff, his side burning, his fingers curled against his chest. Two wrapped in cloth now, still useless, still pounding with every step. The gulch stretched ahead. Flat earth pressed between two long walls of rock. No wind, only heat, only their footfalls in the dust. She carried the broken saddlebags over one shoulder, straps frayed, leather cracked. Her back hunched forward from the weight. Her feet struck the ground hard, even, without pause, without drag. He watched, careful, noticing the muscles in her calves, the way her shoulder bore the pull of the load without shaking. She walked like someone who had done this before, many times, with more weight, with less help. He swallowed. Pain sat behind his ribs, a sharp spot that caught every breath. He held it quiet, let it hide behind his eyes. She did not look at him, not directly, but she knew. They kept going, step after step. The sun curved across the rock walls. Shadows shortened, then stretched again. He stumbled once, caught himself. Her head turned slightly, no word, just a glance. He nodded, kept moving. The silence between them did not sit empty. It held weight, like the saddlebags, like the badge in his pocket, like the names they had already spoken. She adjusted her grip, shifted the bags across her chest. He noticed her hand curl tight around the worn strap. Her fingers thick, dark lines from work, scars old and healed. He thought of his brother, how he would laugh seeing this. Him limping behind a woman twice his size, who said more with silence than most men did with shouting. The gulch bent west. The light fell deeper across the rock. They found tracks, old ones, boot heels, wagon ruts dried into stone. Then the smell came. Rot sharp and sweet like meat left too long in sun. She stopped, raised a hand. He crouched beside her. His leg shook from the motion. They moved forward slower now, each step measured, each shadow checked. Then they saw him, face down, body stiff, arms under him, no hat, no boots. Back of his head split open, flies thick in his mouth. She knelt, reached under his chest, turned him. His eyes had been taken already. In his hand, folded tight, A map, crumpled but dry. She took it, opened it with both hands. Her eyes scanned fast. She stopped at a mark near the corner. She tapped it once, twice. The man leaned close. He read the mark. He knew the shape of the hills beside it. He had seen that draw. That gate, the edge of the sheriff's ranch. She folded the map again, held it out. He took it, and they kept walking. The fire cracked low between them. Small flames. Tight heat. The last of the dry mesquite burned slow. She sat cross-legged, arms resting on her knees, face empty of movement, eyes watching nothing. He sat on the other side, his back against a stone, broken fingers wrapped in cloth, other hand near the knife she gave him, not holding it, not far from it either. The fire shifted, popped once. She blinked. Then she spoke. One name, simple, young. He did not ask who. She said it again, then added a detail. 9 winters, wide hands, fast on horseback, faster with words. Then she stopped. He looked at the flame. The shape of it narrowed, then spread again. He felt the pull of old rope in his hands. Rough, oiled, stained, tied for coin, tied for law. Tied because a man said this one or that. One had to hang flash. The boy who kicked too long. The mother who screamed. The wind that blew too soft that day. The weight that never left his hands. Not since he looked past her into the dark, then down at the dust beside his boot. He scraped a circle in it with one finger, drew a short line through the center, then wiped it away. She reached into her pocket, pulled out a shard of something black. A piece of wood burned at the edge. She placed it between them. His eyes narrowed. The shape was familiar. He leaned forward, held it close to the firelight. The edge curved slightly, the corner still bore paint. White letters, only one left clear. He saw it then. The town sign burned down. Years back. He had ridden through, taken coin, caught a man for the sheriff, delivered him in cuffs. He looked at her. She was already watching him. Her eyes told him the rest. The one he brought was her kin. He sat back. Let the silence hold between them. The fire dropped low again. He added another twig, watched the flame lick it, watched it disappear. She stood without a sound, turned her back. Faced the dark, he followed her eyes. Nothing there. Then he heard it, a snort. Too close, too still. A horse, not theirs, not wild. Saddled by someone who rode quiet, too quiet. She crouched low, fingers moving to her belt. His hand went to the knife. His eyes stayed on the dark. The fire behind them now. The heat gone from their skin. The horse breathed again. Footsteps followed, one too soft. Someone out there, watching, waiting, they did not speak. They did not move. The dark moved first. The horse came from behind the ridge. Too fast to be wild. Too clean to be lost. Its breath came sharp. Hooves pressed close. She saw it first. Her fingers dropped to her boot. He rose slow. Not slow enough. The rider saw them. Pulled the reins. Dirt scattered. Rifle half drawn. No words. No pause. The woman moved. Her blade flashed silver in the firelight. She threw it low. Not at the chest, at the leg. The rider screamed. The horse bucked. Steel met sand. The man staggered to the side. Pulled his bad hand close. Used the other to brace his weight. The rider tried to rise. Blood on his shin. He reached for the rifle again. Hefted it halfway. The man limped forward. No time for thought. It's just motion. He stepped inside the barrel, grabbed the wood, wrenched it free. The rider's elbow struck his ribs. The man gasped, dropped the rifle. The rider drew a knife. Too short to reach clean, too close to miss. They fell together. Sand ground into skin. The rider stabbed, caught flesh near the hip. The man howled. His broken hand found the rider's throat. Pressure pain in both arms. One from the wound, one from the break. The rider kicked. The man bit down a shout, used his knee, pressed full weight into the chest below him. The blade fell. The man grabbed it with his off hand, cut his fingers doing it, pulled it high, drove it down. Once. Then again. The rider stopped moving, Blood filled the sand, dark, thick, still hot. He crawled back, panting, clutching his side. She walked to the horse, grabbed the reins, patted the neck once, then turned to the body. She knelt beside the rider, pulled at the saddlebag, tore the strap loose, reached inside. Her hand came back out slow. She unfolded black cloth, let it fall open in the light. The man saw the mark, faded white shape on rough black A badge, but not for law. For silence, he had seen it once, tied to the back of a man who shot farmers, men who were never found whole, paid by the same badge that took his father. She looked up, held it steady. No words. He nodded, then turned toward the dark, listened for more hooves, more breath. Nothing yet, but they would come. The sheriff's compound sat low and wide in the heat. Sunlight clung to its edges. Dust drifted across the yard. 3 buildings, 1 stable, 1 shed, 1 house with stone steps. They watched from a dry ridge. Wind touched their backs. The horse tied below made no sound. He sat with the blade, cut slow through the beard on his jaw. No water. Only the edge of steel and a strip of leather to wipe it. Each stroke pulled at the skin, left streaks of red beneath gray stubble. She helped him bind the wound at his side. Tight cloth, not drawn flat. Then she handed him the rider's gear, dusty shirt, faded vest, stiff with sweat, boots still damp with blood. He pulled it all on without speaking. The vest clung to his ribs. The boots pressed too tight. He walked a few steps, found his balance. She checked the map once more, tapped the shed, then the back trail, then pointed to herself, then to the front gate. He nodded. They came down the ridge together, but parted before the clearing. She walked with purpose, shoulders forward, one hand on the saddlebags, the other gripping the half-burned trading permit she carried. He kept low, used the brush, stepped through fence gaps and fallen posts until the back of the shed opened in front of him. Voices rose at the gate, a call. A woman's tone, not soft, not desperate, firm, measured. He slid into the shadows, crossed the side of the stable. A dog barked, stopped after one breath. He reached the back porch, listened inside, the scrape of a chair. 2 men talking, one older one close to the window. He waited for the next shout from the front. He heard her laugh, heard the guard curse. He moved then. The door gave under his palm. No creak. Just wait. Inside. Cooler dim, he stepped once, twice. His boots sank into the worn rug. The hallway was empty. He passed framed prints. Glass cracked, paint peeled at the corners. A rifle leaned by the far wall. He passed a wooden chest, then turned the corner toward the front. There above the doorframe, nailed in a line. 3 pairs of shoes, small. Worn 1 pair with blue string for laces. 1 pair with a feather carved into the sole. The last pair split at the toe. Mismatched. He stopped cold. Her son's shoes, hung like trophies, hung without dust. Someone still looked at them. Someone still remembered. His hand moved to the knife at his belt. The one she gave him. Still clean. Still quiet. He turned toward the stairs. The sound of boots moved above, slow, heavy. He waited, listened, counted the steps, then climbed. The match hissed once, then caught. The flame touched the cloth bundle, oil soaked, wrapped tight. He turned from it fast, shoulder tight with pain. Broken fingers clutched the barn post. Smoke rose slow, then fast, then wild. The grain store caught like dry brush, crackling, popping. The sound rolled across the yard. A dog barked, then howled. Men shouted from the gate. He ducked behind the wall, watched the fire leap. Orange light flashed across windows. Boots pounded past. Voices tangled. Orders shouted. No one looked toward the side gate. She moved through it, no sound, no hesitation. Rope coiled in her grip, ease locked ahead. He met her beside the barn. She did not stop, did not look at him. Just opened the door with one hand, slipped inside, he followed. The inside smelled of sweat and old leather. Horses gone, stalls empty, dust thick. The sheriff stood at the far end, rifle in hand, half-dressed, boots unlaced. Jacket open, he turned, confused, then saw the woman first, then the man behind her. The sheriff raised the rifle, shouted, voice sharp, too loud to mean calm. The woman moved sideways. The man stepped forward. His knife flashed. The sheriff fired, missed shot, punched into the wall. The man tackled him, weight against weight. Bodies hit the dirt. The sheriff swung the rifle again, caught the man's jaw. Blood from the lip. He did not fall. The woman stepped in, dropped the rope around the sheriff's neck, pulled back. He staggered, grabbed the rope, fought it. The man stood now, chest heaving, blood on his teeth. He watched, did not move. The sheriff's eyes met his. Recognition there. Old memory. Old trust. Flash. The two of them, younger, dustier, standing with pistols drawn, laughing after, drinking after. Hanging men after. The man's hand dropped to his side. He looked at the rope, then at her, then back to the sheriff. The sheriff's face turned red, then purple. He dropped the rifle. His feet kicked, his hands clawed. The man did nothing, only watched. Till she pulled again, set her feet, leaned back. The rope tightened, a crack echoed low, like wood splitting in half. The body jerked once, then sagged. She let go. The rope slipped from her hands, coiled on the barn floor. The sheriff's boots stilled. The man took one breath, then another, his chest still burning. The fire outside roared louder. Smoke curled through the cracks in the door. He looked at her. She looked at the rope. Then she turned away and walked back into the smoke. The sheriff's body slumped behind them. Fire clawed higher. Smoke poured from the grain store. The barn roof caught. Flames raced along the beams. She ran first, rope loose in one hand, eyes scanning for gaps. Gunmen shouted behind them, boots scattered through the yard. He limped after her, side burning, blood slick beneath his shirt. He pressed his hand there, felt warmth, felt the pull of pain deep inside. She looked back once. He waved her on, tried to keep up, stumbled, dropped to one knee. She turned back, grabbed his arm. He pushed her away. She grabbed again, stronger this time, lifted him halfway. Gunshots cracked. One slammed into the ground near his boot. Another ripped the top rail of the fence. He collapsed. Breath knocked free. Vision blurred. She squatted low, thick arms under his shoulders. She grunted once, hoisted him onto her back. He groaned, could not stop her. His cheek pressed against her braid. The blood from his side soaked into her shirt. Her steps pounded the dust. Up the slope toward the ridge, voices shouted behind, closer, but not close enough. He faded once, eyes closed. Darkness rushed in. Flash, his father stood on the porch, sunlight behind him, badge in hand, wood grain, worn smooth. He pressed it into his son's palm, said, "The weight only breaks cowards," said, "The badge is light if your spine is straight," said, "Right is heavy, but not heavier than truth." Gunshots again, closer now, then farther, then none. She climbed without pause, her back soaked, her breath short, but her steps never broke rhythm. He woke again as they reached the ridge. The air thinned, the slope flattened. He saw the outline of a broken saddle, a mound of dust where the horse had died, one hoof curled under flies, already thick. She dropped to her knees, let him slide off. Gently, one arm still hooked around his back. He hit the ground, did not cry out, could not. He looked up, saw the sun just behind her head. Her breath came in heaves, sweat ran from her brow, her face stone, her hands shaking behind them, no sound, no pursuit. She turned her head, scanned the valley. He closed his eyes again. Not sleep, not yet, just weight and breath, and the ground under him. Still warm, still dry, still theirs. The sun pressed high over the stalls. Wooden carts leaned against stone walls. Canvas flapped in dry wind. Voices carried low across the square. Traders haggled. Children laughed. Boots shuffled through dust. He sat on a flat stool beside a cracked crate. Leather strips coiled beside his feet. His left hand held a torn saddlebag. His right worked a needle through the seam. 2 fingers stiff. One wrapped still. Movement slow but steady. The stand held nothing special. Rope, harness, old stirrups. He did not speak unless asked, did not raise his eyes unless needed. She stood across the way, wide stance, voice sharp. She pointed at a sack of grain. The merchant laughed. She did not. She held her ground, tapped her boot twice. The merchant leaned forward, then nodded, then gave her the measure she asked for. She turned and walked back. Sack slung across one shoulder. No one blocked her path. People moved around them. No one stopped. No one stared. No one saw anything unusual. Just a man with bad hands, just a woman with a heavy step. A boy wandered near. Thin frame dust on his nose. He stood in front of the stall. The man looked up. The boy asked where the sheriff went. Said he heard the jail was locked. Said he heard the gate was still open. Said someone found blood in the barn. The man shrugged, pulled the needle through again, tied the stitch clean, set the leather down. The boy waited, then walked off. No answer needed. She approached the stall, dropped the grain near his feet, sat on the edge of the crate. Neither spoke. The day moved without them. Heat softened. Shadows stretched. She reached into her shirt, pulled out a stone, small, pale, shaped by hand. She turned it once in her fingers, then again, then placed it on the cloth beside him, carved in the center, a single feather, etched deep. Cut smooth, worn already at the edge, she stood. He nodded once. She turned, walked back toward the ridge. He watched her go, did not rise, did not follow, just watched. She passed the last fence post, stepped into the dry grass beyond the road, kept walking, boots brushing against brittle stems, grain sack swinging low. Her braid clung to her back. She reached the high place, the ledge above the valley, where dust never stayed long. She knelt, set the stone down with care, pressed her palm flat against it. The wind rose behind her, pulled her braid sideways, lifted the dust from her knees. She stood, left the stone. The wind took the rest. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and comment on the Old Western Tales.